China and Iran is purely focused on China's energy requirement. After all, for all practical reasons, what can Iran offer? Iran can only offer oil and gas. They have huge oil and gas reserves, both at the Persian Gulf side as well as at the Caspian Sea side. And this is not a hidden secret. China imports Iranian crude at large volumes. And always remember this point, only those countries can do business with Iran who really don't care about the US sanctions. And if you see, China does not really care about US sanctions. In fact, China is the only country in the world that has the audacity to put sanctions back on United States. So Iran is the solution for China's energy requirements. And that is the reason it is very much in favor of China to welcome Iran into the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Now, if you look at India and Iran's relationship, both have good relations. But there is a dilemma for India, and that is to balance relations with both United States as well as with countries that look at US as a threat. If you remember in 2018 when United States President Donald Trump withdrew from JCPOA agreement and imposed more sanctions on Iran, that also affected ties between Iran and India. India had to stop purchasing Iranian oil. India also halted development projects in Chabahar seaport. In return, Iran also removed India from Farzad B gas fields despite the fact that it was Indian company ONGC that had discovered it. Iran also removed India from Zahedan railway project near Iran-Afghan border. Iran also began raising the Kashmir issue regularly. So, in a nutshell, when India moved closer to the US during Trump's presidency, on the other hand, Iran started distancing itself from India and started tilting towards China. But now, after the arrival of the new Iranian president, India is again rebuilding ties with Iran. The Indian Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar also attended President Ibrahim Raisi's swearing-in ceremony that took place on August 6, 2021. India and Iran are again in talks regarding the development of Chabahar Seaport and Zahedan Railway Project. I have a video on INSTC, International North-South Transport Corridor between India, Iran and Russia. Watch that video, you will understand how relations between India and Iran has improved. So the relation between India and Iran is purely transactional. It is like, you don't mess with me and I will not mess with you. But I think now India is able to manage its relations with Iran in a very comfortable manner, despite the US sanctions. So the main thing to understand here is that for Iran, both India and China, the two large economies, are its clients. However, you should also understand this fact that India cannot invest money as much as the Chinese can. In simple words, India will not be able to write bigger checks when compared to China. So anyhow, even India does not have any problem with Iran joining the SCO. Now coming to Russia. Now relationship between Iran and Russia is not that simple as it might seem to be. We have heard in the news that Iran has given drones to Russia that was apparently used in the Russian-Ukraine war. Now that's an alleged report, there is no strong evidence of that. And I have also said this in my previous video that Iran is heavily investing in drone research. Their drone industry is gaining momentum. And then recently there was a drone attack on a US military base in Syria, and those were Iranian drones. I have a video on that as well. In fact, this year Iran also launched its first naval drone carrier division. So from all of this, it may seem that Iran and Russia must be two happy, like-minded friends because both have problems with the West. But then you also have to understand that Iran wants something from the United States, no matter how much it criticizes the United States. Iran badly wants the US to restore the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, that is the JCPOA agreement, because only then Iran can have some relief from the US sanctions. Actually, it was US who withdrew from the JCPOA agreement back in 2018. So anyhow, Iran badly wants the US to restore the JCPOA agreement. Now, if Iran moves more and more closer to Russia and China, then obviously Iran will jeopardize the JCPOA agreement. JCPOA is like that rope that keeps Iran under US control. So even Iran has to do a balancing act, just like how India is doing. If you can recollect, a couple of months ago in July 2022, there was a high-level meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. Putin actually went to Iran. This was the first time he went out of his country since the Russia-Ukraine war started. It was also during the same time Joe Biden was visiting Israel and then Saudi Arabia. I have a video on that as well. Here's the screenshot. In fact, the Iran Supreme Leader even said that the two countries need to stay vigilant towards Western deception. And he also said one more thing. The US dollar should be gradually taken off the global trade, and this can be done gradually. And then if you also remember, last month, that is in August, Russia has also launched an Iranian satellite into orbit for the first time. And then, as I've already said, Iran has also supplied drones to Russia, but there hasn't been any proof whether they have been used against Ukraine. Although some Western media outlets have claimed that Iran is supporting Russia fully in the war against Ukraine, but then these are all allegations. So overall, if you see, all these developments have ignited a debate both inside as well as outside Iran as to how much Iran should tilt towards Russia. Because the more it tilts towards Russia, the West, especially the US, will make it more hard for Iran to restore JCPOA agreement. Iran and Russia often treat each other as a partner of convenience whenever they have to stand against the West. We can see that in Syria as well. Both the Russian forces as well as IRGC, the armed unit of the Iran's military, they together support Bashar al-Assad's forces to fight against ISIS as well as other militant groups that are supported by the West. So anyhow, what I'm trying to say is Iran is developing its relationship with Russia, but at the same time it is also keeping the door open to the West, including Europe.